One of the things that you just gotta love about Harbor Freight is that their Pittsburgh line, not only is it cheap, but they do come up with some really handy tools that, might make or break you in a certain situation just by coming in clutch. Now, what you see before you here on the screen is a dual head ratchet that's in a style of a wrench. So let's take a look at this here. You can fit 3/8 sockets on it, 1/4 inch sockets on it. Has a 72 teeth ratchets, 5 degree arc swing, obviously made out of chrome vanadium steel. And that part number is 67993. And it has a classic lifetime warranty. And you may be wondering, why on earth would somebody want a tool like this? But before I go on to tell you how I'm going to use it, I do want to say that I rarely plug my merch. Now, the reason why I don't plug it that often is because, well, I like to keep the content right on the video. But in this case, I finally got my first sale from my merch store, grabandfix.com, the other day, and I was excited for that. So I needed to plug that in. And you might wonder, what is this all about? Well, my store is about, if you want to change oil at 3,000 miles, you want to change that 5,000 miles, you want to change that 18,000 miles, if you want to say a semi-diesel or what have you, or even 10,000 miles. If you're committed to changing your oil on time, you can show your flair and your care for your car by purchasing a hat, a hoodie, a t-shirt, or whatever that might be that you just might like. So there that is. I appreciate if you check that out. That link is below. Now, one thing I'll say about tools is that a question that a lot of people might ask is, why does a mechanic have multiple sets of tools, multiple ratchets, multiple sockets, multiple wrenches, multiple this, multiple that? And one of the answers to that question is that sometimes a particular socket or a particular ratchet might work in a particular situation. Now, if you take a look here on the screen and look at these 4 sockets here, you can see all of these are 10 mil sockets. First one is a Stanley 3/8 10 mil. The second is a Stanley 1/4 inch 10 mil. The third one is an Icon 3/8 10 mil. And the fourth one is the Astro Pneumatics Nano Socket 10 mil. Now, each one of these, depending on the height or even the wall thickness, may work better in some very particular cases. For the most part, they're all going to work, right? But that's where this little guy right here comes in handy, is that, when you have situations where, like, you might need to kind of tuck your hand in like this, but need a lower profile. Let's just use this. I'm gonna just use this 1/4 inch side here, for example. And you can just tuck your hand in, and you ain't got a whole lot of room, but you can just get your finger in there, kind of push it on that bolt to get that leverage to move. This tool right here will help you achieve that. Now, what else is good about this tool? Well, the second thing is good about it too. It's locking, so that way you don't have to worry about your socket falling off without you pressing this thing here. Third thing is that it is reversible. Now, that's amazing on both sides. It is reversible. So, and now where I think this tool here will shine the absolute most is if you get some adapters to convert this thing to a thumb drive. These right here are some really high quality ones here. For example, these here are made by Williams right here. Actually, these are made in the USA. Really, really fantastic parts here. So how do these work? Well, you say you put one on the 3/8 side here. I forgot, it got the D press here. And you get it up. Let's just put a socket on it so we can demonstrate it. And put it in there. And when you slide it up in where you want to get, and you kind of get where you want to get, see, then you could take your thumbs, and you can just go ahead and get them started or tighten them up. Or because it got a reverse, you can put it that way, and you can go this way again. Good thing about it is that this thing does not take up a lot of space. If you got a pouch on your side and you just want to, to add to your EDC loadout, this thing right here is amazing for that. If you just at Harbor Freight and just want to spend a few dollars, like I'm always doing when I'm there, this is something here that even if you bought it on an impulse buy, it was only, I think, $16. And if you get a good coupon, you can get obviously less than that. But if you bought this even if you just bought this on an impulse buy, it's not a lot of money, and it actually would prove its worth at some point. But again, I do admit a lot of times these tools work best in particular situations. And I know that being a DIY mechanic myself, I have 5 cars here, 2 Buicks, a Monte Carlo, 2006 Colorado, and a Honda CRV. There's lots of variations in the engineering in those cars, so you're going to need different tools to help with different applications. So with that said, guys, and I do want to say, actually, I didn't show you the 1/4 inch here, but they do have that little guy here. This is also made by Williams. I guess because of the size, it's not stamped, but I'll link both of these guys here in the description if you're interested in these here. But they make a perfect pairing with this tool here. So with that said, guys, take care. Hope you got something out of this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.